You're listening to Soap Dirt, the latest in television entertainment news.
Hey, Days of Our Lives fans, I've got your weekly prediction edition. We're going to talk about Kristen getting 30 years and Jennifer exploding. It's Belinda from Soap Dirt. If you're not following us, please reach down, click that subscribe button. We have got predictions for Kristen and Brady, for Phillip and Xander, for Marlena and Belle, for Jennifer, Cat, and Gwen, and also for Chanel and Johnny. Let's get right into it. Our first prediction, Kristen DiMera gets the maximum sentence for attempted murder. So in spoilers for next week, Kristen is asked by the judge if she wants to amend her plea as Johnny and Belle look on. Brady's there, and he says he wants her to get the maximum sentence allowable by law. And the judge is going to hand down a ruling and decide Kristen's fate. Of course, we all saw Kristen interrupt before Leo could read the verdict at Johnny's trial. If she'd waited 20 more seconds, she wouldn't have had to confess because it was going to be not guilty. But Kristen did confess to protect Rachel so EJ wouldn't reveal his niece shot him. And Kristen is determined that everybody's going to keep this secret. She swore Marlena and EJ to secrecy. And next week, Kristen is going to face the consequences of that choice. We also saw Brady raging at Kristen in her jail cell, promising she'll never see Rachel again. And with Brady telling the judge to give her the max, I think Kristen could get a devastatingly long sentence. Some really harsh term behind bars at Statesville. I think the only way that Kristen isn't locked up, maybe for life, is if EJ shows up to speak in her defense and asks for leniency, which seems plausible. Kristen's act of selflessness and her tight lips could cost her 30 years to life in prison so that Rachel doesn't face consequences. We do know Kristen is soon in Statesville prison denim because of a behind-the-scenes shot of her with her brothers EJ, Chad, and Tony. They're in civvies. She's in prison blues. I did check the law in Illinois, and for attempted murder, that's a max of 30 years. If you use a gun, that adds 15. If you fire the gun, it can add 20. If the shot does grievous bodily harm, which this one did, that is 25 to life more on top of the other ones. Kristen could literally get life in prison. Our second prediction, Phillip fakes choking to test Xander's loyalty. So on Wednesday, Marlene is trying to figure out the root cause of Xander's anger issues, and he says lying, cheating, and scheming. That's the same day Gabby is encouraging Phillip in spoilers. Thursday spoilers have Phillip testing the waters with Xander after this conversation with Gabby. And all of this happens while Gabby's bug that she planted in their office in the pen is capturing every word. So in the promo, Phillip's in the office with Xander and he starts choking and he immediately rushes over to Phillip and does the Heimlich. So Xander's anger towards Phillip, as you know, drove him to beat his half-brother nearly half to death. Xander was furious not only about the forged letter, but also that Sarah betrayed him and covered for Phillip. So lots of anger issue triggers. So as Xander sees Phillip choking, he could just sit there and Xander could wait to see if Phillip drops dead and then Xander would be done with him. But we have the spoiler of Phillip testing the waters with Xander. So I wonder if Phillip is fake choking just to see if Xander cares if he lives or dies, and then his brother does indeed ride to the rescue. This could be a turning point for these two. I'm excited to see them back bonding as brothers. Our third prediction, Belle keeps watch over Mama Marlena as bad dreams return. Tuesday spoilers have Marlena having more awful dreams, Queen of the Night stuff, and she wakes up looking all out of sorts. And on Thursday, Marlena asks Belle for a favor. So we all know Marlena's having these Queen of the Night dreams. She, I think, had one in bed and one when she fell asleep on the couch. And she's been reading Arabian Nights to Rachel, who's fixated on the book that Stefano DiMera once used to mind control Marlena. And Susan warned Marlena things with her were getting worse, and Marlena just snapped, pushed Susan out of her apartment, slammed the door in her face. And this week, with Marlena having more bad dreams, does she feel like she needs some help? or at least a clue of what's happening. So Belle knows her mom had that health scare in court not long ago. Every test came back normal, but Belle is still very concerned about Marlena. And if you remember, Sarah wants to run one more test. But since Belle's right there and lives with Marlena and would do anything to help her mom, maybe she's going to turn to Belle, and maybe Marlena asks Belle to sacrifice a night's sleep to watch over her and sees what happens when she has one of these dreams. If she does, will Belle be shocked about what happens to her mom? Or even worse, when she's supposed to be watching Marlena, could Belle fall asleep on the job? Our fourth prediction, Jennifer is livid that Cat and Gwen are friends. Tuesday spoilers have Chad telling Cat how he really feels, and I wonder if he's going to finally admit he likes her. And on Friday, spoilers say it's JJ Devereaux's birthday. His parents, Jennifer and Jack, are in town for a party that Julie organizes, and Jack actually invites Gwen to come to the Hortons for JJ's birthday. That is her brother, after all. But Gwen asks why she would go to a house full of people who hate her. And Jack tells Gwen he doesn't hate her, but we all know that Jennifer can't stand her, and she really can't stand Cat. That woman impersonated Jen's dead daughter Abigail, tried to trick Chad into marrying her. Julie can't stand Cat, and neither can Jack and Jen, but Chad told Julie to back off, and he may tell Abby's parents the same things. So recently, Cat met Gwen, they hit it off, and Gwen told EJ that Cat may be her only friend in Salem now Kristen's going to jail. Jennifer, of course, can't stand Gwen, who targeted Abby, slept with her husband Chad, and then Gwen blackmailed Jennifer out of the Spectator after Jennifer ran Gwen over with her car back when Jen was having a little issues with pills again. So Jennifer's going to freak out once she finds out Abby's half-sister Gwen and Abby imposter Cat are getting closer. Hopefully, Chad won't bring Cat to JJ's party, but if he does and Jen sees her there chatting with her new pal Gwen, I think Jen might go completely nuclear. Our fifth and final prediction, Chanel and Johnny still get that baby. So Monday spoilers, Brady finds something out shocking from the lawyer, finds out Tate did not father a baby that was part of a Chicago adoption. Tuesday spoilers, Brady tells Tate he's looking into Sophia's sketchy adoption thing, and what he's learned so far makes him even more suspicious. Thursday spoilers have Chanel thinking about adoption again. Friday, Steve and Brady continue their investigation. Sophia lies again, and Tate catches her in a lie. In the promo, Sophia tells Melinda she slipped up and referred to the baby as a he instead of a she, and Melinda starts to panic as well. So with the trial behind them, Chanel may convince Johnny that it's time to start their family. Please reconsider adoption. And he might. Meanwhile, Sophia and Melinda's scheme is falling apart at the seams. The truth about Tesoro is gonna come out. Right now, he's being fostered by Rafe with help from Leo and Gabby and Javi. But once Steve and Brady find out Tate was lied to and there's no adoption and Sophia abandoned the baby, that's going to change everything. I doubt that Sophia will reclaim Tesoro, but Tate might consider it. However, he was comfortable with his cousin Johnny and wife Chanel adopting his baby, so he may encourage them to go ahead and do it, because that way Tate would know his kid had a good life and he could see his child growing up and, know that they were doing well. So once Brady busts Sophia and Melinda, is Chanel finally going to get her mom dream achieved?
Thank you for being a loyal listener. Follow us wherever you get your podcast, because you don't want to miss the next episode. Soap Dirt is on all the major podcast platforms, including Apple Podcast, Spotify, iHeartRadio, and more.